Salutation, everyone, and thank you for watching episode 67. You know, the more you read about not just diabetes, but health in general, and what's considered healthy, you'll quickly learn sooner than later that there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of different schools of thought. This, I think, is one of the number one reasons why it's so difficult to get solid answers about many of these chronic illnesses like diabetes, because you have so many different concepts, so many different therapies, so many different theories about the same disease. Honestly, at this point, anyone that boasts themselves to be an expert on diabetes, I run the other way. Trust me. Even doctors can never seem to agree amongst each other about this diabetes thing. When it comes to health, conventional wisdom fluctuates as quickly as the four seasons. It seems that every year somebody claims that they have found the cause of diabetes or the cure for diabetes. We have to be extremely selective to where we get our diabetic information, because so much of what's being told today are more likely to be fads than reliable information. For instance, first in the 60s, conventional wisdom said, it was important to drink milk for strong bones. Milk was the best source for calcium. It was branded into every parent's brain that milk was the best way to ensure their child's growth. Well, 50 years later, we found that cow's milk has made half of us lactose intolerant, and a significant portion of those people happen to be African American. Sad part is that some don't even recognize it as a problem. Some people even use milk in place of a natural laxative, not realizing that it's a digestive issue. In fact, over the years, I've also learned that milk has become a living nightmare for many asthmatic children. I've even read some studies that cow milk may be responsible for some people becoming type 1. I'm not too sure about that though. I haven't read it from a reliable source. But with all the hormones and shit that they inject in milk, I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly. And I also think we won't ever really know the truth for obvious reasons. Also in the 60s, wheat was branded into our brains that it was the best for our health. It was supposed to reduce all kinds of metabolic syndromes. And yet today, we have literally billions of people with celiac disease, gluten intolerance, wheat intolerance. There's a difference. Irritable bowel syndrome, and even worse, Crohn's disease. And the sad part about it is, again, people are walking around with these conditions and for years and don't even realize they got it. And speaking for myself, when I first heard about irritable bowel syndrome, they just gave me medication, and it took me years to put together that some of these same foods that people were saying was healthy for me was actually making me ill. It took me many, many years. So much of our food contains wheat in it, and I'm like thinking to myself, why are so many billions of people have all these digestive disorders if so much food contains wheat in it? That is, if wheat is the holy grail of health. Robin Gibbons, also to give you another point, Robin Gibbons died of cancer, and he was a vegan. Farrah Fawcett, from the original Charlie's Angels, also died of cancer. She was a vegan. And now I'm not bashing on vegans. I'm just saying while plant-based foods can be healthier if you eat in moderation and portion control and all that good stuff, it's obviously not a cure for all. Not to mention the fact that if you're going to go vegans, if you're going to go that way, not enough vegans are eating enough vitamin B12, which also can possibly cause anemia and nerve damage. That's another story. Once conventional wisdom also told diabetics that to eat plenty of veggies and fruits and vegetables, and in some cases we can eat it in unlimited quantities. Now conventional wisdom tells us, oops, you can't have too much of that fruits and vegetables, because some of those have plant-based foods have too much carbs in it too. It's important for people to realize that and understand that people with diabetes, it's not that we're not getting enough vitamins and that's why we have diabetes. It's because our bodies can't process sugar properly. Therefore, the key to diabetes the key to a successful diabetic is portion control and carb counting, regardless of whether you're vegan or not, regardless of what we eat, regardless of whether you lose a pound or not. You'll also read studies that stay away from saturated fats because it's the leading cause of heart disease and all of that. And then you can easily find another study saying that they're contrary to belief, that there's not enough conclusive evidence that suggests with certainty that that's the case. A couple of videos ago, I've already debunked the calorie myth, and I'm not saying that calories doesn't, play a crucial role. I'm just saying that it's naive to think that calories is the only problem. The human body, and diabetes for that matter, is complex, and not everything is as black and white as people think it is. And of course, it's easier for a lot of people to just think that it's black and white because you don't have to do the footwork of actually reading and find out about it. It's easier to just judge someone and say, you're fat because you're diabetic, or this is why you're like that, this X, Y, and Z. Who asked you? Really, who asked you? We have enough problems just trying to live our lives knowing that we have the disease. We don't need to be stressed from every Tom, Dick, and Harry telling us what we need to do. Diabetes and health in general is complex. And I think we all, both diabetics and non-diabetics, both health professionals and non-professionals, we all need to do a better job in understanding this disease. And while I understand that there's just so much out there, especially for a doctor, because they have to worry about learning so much other stuff. But at the same time, I think, because diabetes is an epidemic, it's worth the extra work to try to push yourself that much more to learn about diabetes and to actually talk to us. Don't assume that because someone is diabetic that they're that way because they're doing something, or they're that way because they're eating the wrong foods. When I go to the doctor and they test my blood sugar, the finger stick, and say, oh, your blood sugar is 130 or 140, which isn't really all that bad, because, and I tell you why, because not one Of all the doctors that I've been to that have done that figure stick, not one has bothered to ask me, "Oh, did you have a piece of gum, while you were waiting at the doctor's office? Did you have breakfast this morning? Maybe you had juice. Maybe, or if my blood pressure's a little high, maybe I'll walk to the doctor's office. Not that I actually have high blood pressure." I think that these are important questions for you to ask a patient before you scream diabetes or scream you're out of control, when it could be just simply, "I had breakfast this morning." Something to think about. Thanks guys for watching. Love you guys. I can't wait for my next video. Thanks. Bye.